Welcome to PocketGreen, the podcast exploring sustainable projects in Vietnam. We will meet with actors of change in agriculture, waste management, and education to understand how and why they do things differently, and how we can join them to reduce our ecological footprint. Today, I will meet with Nia, committed to sustainable travel, who's engaged in the projects Refill My Bottle and Ecocentric Festival. Good morning, Nia.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Could you start by introducing yourself a little bit?
Yes, sure. So I'm Nia. I'm originally from Germany. I've been in Vietnam for about 2.5 years now. I'm the sustainability coordinator for Kiri Travel. Kiri Travel is a tourism organization bringing tourists from overseas, mostly Europe and the US, to Vietnam, but also 6 other countries in Southeast Asia. So I don't work just for Vietnam, but for 7 countries. But I'm based in Vietnam for 2.5 years now.
Okay. And can you explain a little bit how you ended up, if I can say so, like in Vietnam? What pushed you to come here?
To Vietnam, it was pretty much the job. So I was in Thailand before for about 3 years, and I got the opportunity to work from Vietnam, and I wanted to get to know a new country, get to know new cultures. So that's why I came over in 2018. And I came to Southeast Asia maybe because I saw there was a huge potential for sustainable tourism. Yeah, so the tourism in Southeast Asia is growing a lot, and I think there's a massive need for responsible tourism development. So this is why I wanted to come to Southeast Asia and really work here on the ground.
Okay, and were you already working for the travel industry, before coming to Southeast Asia?
Actually, I was studying. It all started. It was a bit of a selfish reason, to be honest. I finished high school. I was traveling for a year. I didn't really know what to do next and where to go. So I just Googled around and I found this course in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, actually. So I studied tourism management, and pretty soon within the first year of my studies, I realized that actually tourism can be used to do something good. So it can be really used as a development tool. So it can really create economic benefits for countries. It can really support the improvements of education or infrastructure or even healthcare systems. But it can also support the conservation and the protection of the environment. So I really had this interest in sustainable tourism. And then after my bachelor degree, I got the opportunity to work in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, for an NGO, which is called community-based tourism. So they develop responsible tourism with the ethnic groups in the north, in the mountains. And during this time, I realized, I was like, wow, there's a huge opportunity for me in Southeast Asia. So I went back to Europe. I did my master's in tourism and social anthropology, actually, in Brighton in the UK. But then with the aim to come back to Southeast Asia and work here. And then just by chance, I got a job in Thailand first, and then I moved to Vietnam.
Wow, quite an adventure.
Yeah, exciting, really exciting times, and lots of really cool things happening in Vietnam or in Southeast Asia. So it's a great opportunity for me.
And actually, one of the reasons I wanted to discuss with you is also because, related to tourism, you're part of quite an interesting project, I find, which is called Refill My Bottle. Could you explain maybe in a few words what it's about, how it works,
Yeah, Refill My Bottle, it started off from the idea that a lot of people use single-use plastic bottles. They buy their water in the supermarket and then they drink the water and throw it away. So if you think about, so we as a tourism business, we obviously bring tourists to Vietnam. We have a responsibility towards the country, right? So if you think about last year in 2019, we had 18 million international travelers coming to Vietnam. So if you think about how many plastic bottles of water they drink every day, it's massive, right? So we collaborated actually with Refill My Bottle, which is an NGO based in Bali, and we created a global app. So the app is completely free, it's super easy to use, and basically it's a map with refill stations. So if you have a coffee shop or a restaurant, a hotel, a shop, could even be an office, you can sign up. Your refill station is on the map, and then people, locals, tourists, anyone can come in, refill their bottles, so they don't have to buy the single-use plastic water bottles anymore. So this is the basic idea of Refill My Bottle.
Okay, well, I think it's really an amazing project, but it seems like not a lot of people know about it. And so, could you explain maybe like from like two perspectives? First, if you're a business or maybe like an organization, like a store, whatever, how can you actually join Refill My Bottle? What's the benefit for you? Like, how does it work for the installation, etc. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, like if you're like a tourist, concretely, like how does it work, like for the map, like what do you need to give?
Right. So if you are a business and you want to be on the app, you go to refillmybottle.com and you can sign up. Super easy. You need to give your address, your opening hours. You need to explain a little bit about the water you're providing, a picture of your business, and then you come on the app. It's for free, and it's quite easy. You as a refill station, you take ownership of the water. Yeah, so you make sure you provide safe and clean drinking water to your clients, basically. You need to make sure to educate your staff, which is really important. So if tourists or locals come in to refill their bottle, that they get the support they need from your staff. I think the benefits for you as a business are that it's, in my opinion, it's just some sort of service mindset. It's just a very nice way to provide extra service to your clients. It brings in more walk-in clients, I think. And I have this story. When I first started with this initiative, I met a restaurant manager in District 1, and he told me that the story that the week before, a group of tourists came in. They wanted to refill their bottles, and the staff, they were not really sure how to handle that situation. First, they said no, but then he came and he said, "Yeah, sure, guys, refill your bottles." Okay, all these 5 people, they refilled their water and they left. But the next night, they actually came back for dinner. So 5 people coming back to have dinner in your restaurant. So it creates a positive image for your business. It really shows that you care for the environment, that you are part of the solution, and that you take your responsibility. That you take it seriously.
Yeah, I really like this story. It's really great to hear. And thing is, like I am a user of Refill My Bottle, but it is true that maybe not a lot of business are aware that they can do that. So how could we help the businesses even know or actually implement those refill stations?
Yes, it's a little bit difficult, to be honest, because we just don't have the capacity to walk around, go from coffee shop to really introduce the app to everyone. So we are depending a little bit on the word of mouth. So if you know someone with a coffee shop or with a restaurant or with a hotel, share it. You can share it online. But you as a user, you can also actually suggest refill stations. So if you download the app, you can suggest a refill station. Refill My Bottle from Indonesia, they will reach out to that refill station and they will follow up with them to put them on the app. We're kind of hoping to get this word of mouth trickle down effect somehow, that, one restaurant signs up, and if you do sign up, you get even access to nice posters and stickers. So you could have a sticker and a poster in your window, and we kind of hope that, a restaurant starts and then the restaurant next door is like, oh, what is this? I also want to be part of this initiative. So we're hoping to achieve that at some point.
Okay, now that's really good to hear, and hopefully, like the people listening, like will then go to their coffee shops and favorite restaurants and ask them to actually be part of Refill
Yes.
My Station.
Yes. Exactly. And I think the more users we have as well, the more it will be spread and the more people will hear about it. And hopefully we have more businesses joining and users as well.
And could we imagine maybe like some volunteer like helping out to actually like knock at the doors of like restaurants and coffee shops like in District 1, like in the touristic places, like to explain a little bit like what is about like Refill My Station, Refill My Bottle, sorry, and to become like a station?
Yes, absolutely. We tried this a little bit before. We had an intern, but you need to be quite straightforward. You need to be a little bit, convincing. And what's really important is you need to speak to the manager or the owner of the place. Yeah. So this is a bit difficult because if you speak to a waiter or waitress, they wouldn't necessarily have the knowledge or have the possibility to actually put it in place. And so it really needs to come from the manager or the owner. And they need to also educate their staff how to deal with the situation when somebody comes in and wants to refill their bottle. But then absolutely, yes, please, everyone can go out and share this initiative. As I said, it's free, and we just want to share the possibility to reduce the use of single-use plastic bottles, basically.
Okay, well, that's something to keep in mind because I will interview also like somebody like from Vietnam Clean and Green that are actually dealing with plastic in Vietnam. So maybe something that they can be part of as well, like to push the movement.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we worked a lot with other initiatives and groups and organizations already. We had a lot of events where we joined and gave pitches and introduced the app and so on. So there's a big movement and we definitely want to be part of it, but we want to really reach the masses and really reach more people. So also if you working in a school, so you can tell all the students about the app so that the students start using the app, for example. And yeah, if you know any business, any shops, coffee shops, restaurants, we can for sure, everyone can spread it.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Nia. And this is definitely like to be followed by like concrete actions to push this movement.
Hopefully, yeah.
Another topic I wanted to discuss with you is about like another initiative that you started, I think, 3 years ago called Ecocentric Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Right. So Ecocentric is a little bit different. So this is something I just do for fun. Just for fun. We started actually in 2018. I'm not at all a event organizer or party organizer or anything. It's a music festival with a focus on sustainability. And basically it all started when I was sitting down with Ben. He's the owner of Schiller Saigon. Schiller is a river club in Tuduk. It's my absolute favorite spot in Saigon. It's right by the river. You have a beautiful view over the skyline. It's an amazing garden with cats and dogs running around. Schiller is, of course, on the Refill My Bottle app. So they are a refill station, and it's a really, really cool place. And it's very artsy. They have lots of good music. So in 2018, I was sitting down with Ben and we had a couple of beers and we were just talking about what we could do with the space because they have a beautiful space. And we came up with the idea of hosting a day festival, basically. And I love good music and I love dancing and I love being outside, but I'm also quite a nerd when it comes to sustainability. So I wanted to kind of combine both. And I think it's quite important when we talk about the environment or conservation or sustainability. Quite often, I think it's very dry. Sometimes it's a little bit boring. Webinars are a lot of the times on the same topic. It's it's not very appealing, or it's not very sexy topic to talk about, right? So I wanted to make this whole thing a little bit more fun. And I wanted to give people who don't have the possibility to have access to all the knowledge, I wanted to give them a fun environment where they can actually learn a little bit more. So Ecocentric is a day festival with lots of really good music. We had in the past, we had Saigon Dub Station, we had Mekong Monkey Soup, we had quite a few of DJs who usually play at the Lighthouse or the Observatory or something. So it's lots of good music. But we also have one big part, which is called the Organic Forum, where people share their expertise. So it could be any topic related to sustainability. We had, for example, somebody talking about fair fashion. We had somebody talking about chocolate and why it's important to maybe buy fair trade chocolate. We also had somebody talking about plastic waste. We had, of course, the climate collage team was there to do the climate collage. We had different workshops. We had a laughing yoga workshop. We had beeswax wrapping station. People could make their own tote bags. So yeah, there's lots of fun activities and very informal talks where people can get a bit more information about topics which are related to sustainability. We also have a lot of food, lots of vegan or vegetarian food, lots of good drinks, of course, and yeah, it's just a very fun day and night in this beautiful garden where we combine music and the idea of bringing people closer to the knowledge of sustainability.
Yeah, I had the chance to be part of the Ecocentric Festival for 2 years in a row, and I really enjoyed it. And especially what you were mentioning, the fact that you're bringing also like, for instance, like farms that do like organic farming to show their products, like give the opportunity to people to give it a try.
Right.
Thanks to you, I also like now found out the vendor or like the baker where I buy my bread every week. So
Perfect.
it's actually a great opportunity to meet like with people who are concerned about like sustainability.
Yes, exactly. So I just want to give a platform to people to introduce their products and create a nice environment and nice atmosphere at this festival. Also, what is maybe important to mention is, of course, it's all plastic free. So this is one of the criteria when you come to the event. There's no single-use plastic, but also it took a little while to figure out the system. But now it's a non-profit event, so we do have some expenses for marketing and for some musicians. So we do need to charge an entrance fee. But all the profit is actually donated to an NGO. So for the last 2 events, we donated to Change Vietnam, which is a really cool NGO working on environmental protection in Vietnam. They have an amazing campaign, anti-poaching campaign on the road, actually. And during the last event, we were able to, I think, collect 25 million dong to give to Change Vietnam, which is amazing. So it's really all the profits go to an NGO which is working in the field of sustainability.
Definitely good to mention.
Yes, yeah. I'm really proud of that we got together a huge amount, which hopefully helps Change to make a bigger change.
So now that we've talked about Refill My Bottle and the Ecocentric Festival, I know, like since you mentioned it in the beginning, you're quite concerned about sustainable travel and sustainable tourism. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What you think? What's your opinion and view on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just something very important and something we need to consider in the future. So I think I mentioned it before. In 2019, we had 18 million international people arriving in Vietnam for traveling. So if you think about 18 million, that's huge. And these people, obviously, they have an impact on the destination. They have an impact on the resources we're using. Okay, they're all using water. They're all using electricity. They're producing waste. And where does it all go? So I think it's extremely important to think about these things. And I'm working for a company bringing tourists to Vietnam. So, of course, we have a responsibility towards the destination. And we need to take that seriously, and we need to make sure that the impacts are kept or the negative impacts are kept at a minimum. There's lots of things we can do. So if we start traveling in Vietnam, even we can just think about a little bit, like, where am I staying? Maybe I could, if you're staying in a small family-owned hotel, well, you provide benefits, economic benefits for that family. Yeah. So instead of staying maybe at a very high-end international brand, you could really try to support the local families. Or even if you think about where you go for lunch or for dinner, there's lots of really cool restaurants. They support the youth. There's lots of vocational training restaurants which give young kids from very, very poor backgrounds the opportunity to get a proper education. So you have Koto is, for example, a really famous one in Saigon and in Hanoi, or Streets International, or Bloom. So you have great restaurants. They have an extra purpose of actually supporting the youth.
Is there like a place online, a website where we can learn more about like all those different like restaurants or like eco like homestay like initiatives in Vietnam, for like to help people like know a little bit more about that?
One good source has, for example, EXO Foundation. They have a whole list of responsible restaurants. They also have a list of souvenir shops which have a good purpose. So there's lots of good initiatives supporting women or disabled people or people from poor backgrounds. They make souvenirs, and you can buy souvenirs and do something good. They have a really good list online, and if you travel, you can. I mean, if you look around online, you find a lot of small Airbnbs or homestays. I think you find a lot online, actually, where you can really see who owns it and make some great connections to people.
Okay, awesome. Any last recommendations for like potential or existing travelers here in Vietnam about how they can actually like travel more sustainably?
Well, first of all, bring your reusable bottle and download the app and refill your bottle. So no single-use plastic anymore. I think it's really important, and it's very easy to say no to straws and no to plastic bags and all of that. Maybe what I'm trying to work on right now is maybe try to fly less. So you could take a train or a bus or a boat instead, spend more time in the destination, take a bit more to discover parts of the country which are not as developed. Buy locally, buy at the local market, maybe not at the big supermarket chains. Stay in homestays, get to know the people, try to learn a few of the customs and traditions. And I think then Vietnam is an amazing country to travel. And there's lots of opportunities to really meet the locals and support the destination.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Nia, for your time and great advice. And good luck in the future with all those projects.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And I'm excited to see how many refill stations we can get within the next few weeks.
If you want to get involved and help us spread out the Refill My Bottle movement, you can download the app for free on your phone and talk about this initiative to your favorite coffee shops and restaurants. Happy refill!